So today I wanted to make this video on setting the record straight about possession, okay? Now, for those of you who know about this, you already know what I'm about to say and what I'm going to get into, okay? First of all, when it comes to possession, you see all of this bullshit in the movies, you see all of these fake stories, but you can take my experience, break it down, chop it up how you want to, and determine whether or not it's something that is evil per se, okay? Every single time that I have actually been possessed, because I'm a psychic medium, as a psychic medium, I'm possessed every time I summon a spirit. Whether I'm evoking or invoking that spirit, they walk into me, because it's an ability that is very dominant of mine, and I'm more comfortable doing it in this way. First of all, when it comes to being possessed, sometimes my vocal cords change. The spirits can change my tone to be exactly that of theirs. They even change it to be raspy if their voice is raspy. It can change to booming. It can change to extremely quiet. It even can become extremely telepathic and solely telepathic at that. Sometimes it could even become energetically, stimulating. When you are possessed, or when I get possessed, I am allowed to see from the perspective of that spirit or whoever it is that I have in my body at that time. People have asked me, where do I go when I am possessed? I'm actually just outside of my body, or I'll go into, where I'll go into my astral temple and I'll hang out in my astral temple. Or for another piece of myself will be inside of an area that spirit allowed me to go to, seeing from their perspective, because we switch. So I get to see from their perspective and they get to see from my perspective, which means I completely black out, and I sometimes will tend to not even remember this stuff unless the spirit is actually utilizing some kind of ability to kind of photograph certain things for me, which spirits tend to do for me. When I'm using possession, I tend to use it for spell work to get deeper into the connection with my client or the target, that I'm aiming for, that I'm going for, because I like to make sure that I see that individual. I like to make sure that I can actually reach them with my words. I like to make sure that I can actually feel them, and that they can, in a way, sense that something is there. Because when they can sense and they can feel that something is there, they will listen, okay? They will actually listen. It doesn't matter if someone believes in this stuff or not, from what I've noticed, because there's been people who I've went to that didn't believe in this stuff, and I was able to get them to come forward and do whatever it is that the client wanted them to do, and whatever I was telling them to do. This is the exact same thing as if you're utilizing a demon to go forward to someone and send some of their legions. In this case, this is kind of the opposite, because you're seeing from the perspective of the demon that you're using. This is why possession can be so beneficial. Possession can also allow you to have access to sigils that of which you might not have caught on to when you were just doing a regular meditation or a regular trance state, They also can give you certain mantras, certain mudras, and a lot of other secret hidden things that you would have missed if you were doing a regular type of rite, okay? When it comes down to finishing up and moving to the ending of a possession, it can be quite draining, because of the fact that they're utilizing your vessel, and their energy is on such a higher level than you. Now, when you come back, because they had so much energy, you're drained, because they have to consume so much more of your energy in your body just to be here in this density. And that's the reason why people become so drained, like myself, after doing a big rite like that. I tend to, start to kind of think like that spirit, which when I'm done, this is the reason why when I'm done, I like to do a huge banishing, right? So that I'm not stuck in the perspective and the mind frame of that spirit, unless in fact, I want to continue on and do a path working with that spirit when I come back, okay? Now, for people who are involuntarily possessed, involuntary possession happens when you are someone who is belonging to a religion that is putting that shit into your head. Because in most cases, these people are suffering from a lot of mental health issues as it is. So they kind of start to hallucinate, okay? A lot of them tend to hallucinate. Some of them actually are in contact with demonic entities that want something from them, okay? When a demon has a specific interest in an individual, that is in fact when they go forward and they, that's in fact when they go forward and they actually will possess that individual. They do not remain when you voluntarily become possessed, because they can't remain in your vessel because you become physically drained, as I've said. Notice how a lot of the possessed victims in these videos and in these books and on these shows and movies, that they're always children, okay? They're children, and they're portrayed in such a disgusting, corrupt way. Usually they're always horny, or they're saying something that's super foul, or they're speaking in some demonic tongue or whatever. And then at the end, the priest will come through and they're blah, 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 the power of Christ compels you, da, 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 whatever, okay? Why is it that there's always something that is sexual brought forward? Why is it that there is always something, that is perverse that's brought forward? Because they want to steer people who are religious. They want to steer all of us who were part of a religion away from magic, away from demons, and away from spirits, to really keep it for themselves. Because the abilities that come forward from utilizing these kinds of techniques are profound. The experiences that you get to, see, the experiences that come forward, the encounters and endeavors with spirits and demonic kings and jinn that you have from these kinds of things, take it to a whole nother level. The relationship, the bonds that you build with these spirits, take it to an entirely different level. And it's just an amazing thing that is so tainted that I wanted to make a video about it, because this is shit that needs to be said. When it comes to possession, I recommend it for those of you who aren't afraid to get down to the real nitty-gritty. For those of you who aren't really afraid to connect with the spirit on a completely different level than you would have thought.